It's a complicated process covering a very difficult matter: sexual assault victims being billed for tests conducted after they're attacked.
We first reported on this in August. A woman reached out to TSV11, angry, shocked, and hurt that she was being asked to pay for a rape test kit and other procedures.
We found there's actually a state fund that helps these victims, but it's not as simple as finding a hospital, filling out a form, and following through.
Tonight, TSV11's Winnie Wright continues our investigation into rape kit testing and the trouble that sometimes follows.
Approximately 20% of women in Arkansas have been raped at some point in their lives. That's according to the Intimate Partner and Sexual Violence Survey, which says that's likely a very conservative estimate. Many of the victims won't go to the hospital for treatment, but for those who do, there are many unknowns, including how much the bill will be once they get home.
I shouldn't have to pay for something that you have to do in order to prosecute the person that did something to you.
She spoke with us in August, a rape victim who went to Baptist Hospital for a sexual assault exam. A week later, she got a bill totaling nearly $600.
It's not like I wanted to go and have a rape kit done, because it's very intrusive, especially after what happened.
In that same story, we found out about the Arkansas Crime Victims Reparations Program, $3 million of state money offering up to $10,000 to those who have suffered personal injury or death. In just the past 2 years, 6,000 victims have been helped, most of them sexual assault claims. But what we found out since then is there are limits on how much a victim can receive, and hospitals don't get fully reimbursed in most cases, even if the victim has insurance.
We're seeing here in our hospital about 100 cases a year, 120, somewhere around there. And we're just one hospital in this local area, so you imagine the number across the state.
Sherry Searcy, a sexual assault nurse examiner at UAMS, says the rape kit and STD testing, the part that can be compensated for hospitals, is only a small fraction of the rape treatment process.
We can offer them HIV prophylaxis, STD prophylaxis, pregnancy prophylaxis, lab work for baseline HIV status, hepatitis. We'll check their kidney and liver function.
We requested information from each of Little Rock's 4 hospitals on how they handle billing for sexual assault victims. What we found is that depending on which hospital you visit and how much insurance coverage you have, you could be expected to pay nothing, thousands of dollars, and everywhere in between. That was more than 2 weeks ago. After reviewing their policies and the law, according to the Attorney General's office, we realized that none of those hospitals' policies matched the law, written in black and white. An AG spokesperson told me this, quote, "For any sexual assault exam, those expenses should accompany a SA reimbursement form and sent directly to our office. Bypassing insurance is perfectly fine. In fact, we ask providers not to bill private insurance for sexual assault charges. However, there is no law that says they cannot bill insurance. Hospitals are to send bills and applications to our office on behalf of all sexual assault patients. It is the provider's responsibility to get this to our office, not the victims." We reached back out to the hospitals with the law according to the AG's office. Each of the 4 hospitals revised their statement to some degree. These are the hospital's positions as of November 14th, 2017. If the patient has insurance, UAMS says it will bill the insurance company first. Whatever isn't covered is billed to the Crime Victims Fund. If the patient doesn't have insurance, UAMS says it will bill the fund first, eating the remaining cost for uninsured victims.
The funding has been very minimal, compensation for UAMS. On average, about $236 is what I'm seeing refunded to the hospital. And our bills are around $3,000 for the whole care.
UAMS's policy says payment by the board shall be considered payment in full.
If the victim does receive a bill, they need to contact us to make sure that there has been appropriate application put on file for them. They need to reach out to us so that we can ensure that this has happened. Sometimes things happen where applications slip through the cracks.
Arkansas Children's Hospital also bills insurance when that is available. If patients don't have insurance, they're referred to the AG's office. CHI St. Vincent says its policy is not to charge any fee for a rape kit, adding sexual assault victims are not required to cover the cost of any treatment. From time to time, they say a patient's insurance will also be billed with a crime victims reparations program listed as a secondary payer. In our August story, which included Baptist Hospital, they told us, quote, all patients who receive services in our emergency department trigger charges such as, but not limited to, lab work, radiology, pharmaceutical costs, and physician examinations. As of November 14th, Baptist told us, quote, Baptist Hospital does not bill patients for a rape kit. We do not bill patients' insurance or for other services associated with a rape diagnosis.
It obviously says a due date, and they sent me a financial aid assistance letter on how to, like, I guess do payment plans or something to pay them for my visit to the hospital.
I don't think it's fair that something that was done to them, they didn't electively choose to be raped, and now they have to choose between, do I pay for these really expensive medications or provide the care that my child needs or put food on the table? That's not okay.
Louise Allison founded PATH, a safe place for victims of sexual assault and human trafficking. She's spent many a day in the ER with victims and says the care victims receive is also not the same from one hospital to another.
I think it would be great to have basic standards of care across the board, regardless of what hospital the girl goes to after the initial assault. The SANE nurse, the sexual assault nurse examiner, is not available at all facilities. The care that is provided is not across the board at all facilities, and it really, a girl is not going to go from one hospital to another over and over and over again trying to get the care she needs.
The victim we spoke to believes the lack of uniform care and potential costs associated with rape kit testing forces many victims to simply stay quiet and not report the crime. The National District Attorneys Association estimates 63% of sexual assaults are not reported to police. Another possible reason, confidentiality.
If she has insurance and she's expected to file that insurance through that insurance policy, but the policy holder is the one that committed the rape, she does not want to file through her insurance company.
That's why Allison says it is in the public's best interest that these victims get the care they need and the confidence to report to police to get these perpetrators off the streets.
If she doesn't get the care she needs and it becomes too complex or too cumbersome, or she begins to become worn out in the process, she's not going to press charges.
In the end, our victim didn't end up paying anything. While the hospitals say patients should be in contact with them if they feel they've been billed inappropriately, Louise Allison says victims often won't. They'll avoid doing anything to relive that trauma again. She's already at work to propose legislation that would ensure rape victims never get a bill. In fact, the rapists are the ones that would be held financially responsible. We'll continue to follow her efforts to protect this vulnerable group of Arkansans.